Good morning and happy Wednesday and welcome to Live Coffee Talk Show. If you are new to me, I am Michelle Quay. I am a visibility confidence coach and I help women coaches to use the secret power sauce of storytelling in their business to get seen, get heard, and get hired. You are watching my weekly show, Coffee Talk, where I invite guests in their expert area so that they can share their inspiration, their stories, and also a lot of strategy and tips on how you can grow your own coaching business. So welcome to the show. I don't know about you, but a lot of time people will come to me and said, Michelle, you wear so many hats in your life. You're a clinical pharmacist, you're a coach, you're doing public speaking, you're doing writing a lot of content, and you're doing all these things. How exactly do you do it? Do you have a life? Do you ever sleep? Do you ever go out for a walk? And the answer is, my friend, yes, all of the above. I do all of them, but I couldn't have done it without the help of some technology. And now in this case, it's a technology and a virtual assistant. Today, I'm excited because I have Miss Kathy Powell, who is a virtual assistant who specializes in simplifying onboard and offboarding process for coaches, consultants, and other service providers. She is a certified Dubsado specialist, a life coach, and also an experienced office manager in the corporate arena. These experiences and skills have given her the unique understanding of a very complex requirement of her clients. And I don't know about you, but when I work with someone, especially a VA who's so personal and they have to really understand what you're going through. The first person I would think to go to is actually someone who can truly understand what I was going through. So I'm really excited to bring Kathy and invite Kathy out here to join us. And she is going to tell us everything that you need to know about Dubsado. So please join me with a warm welcome. And if you're watching this show live, I would love and appreciate you giving me a hello or giving us a heart and let us know that you're watching this and joining us live. Now, without further ado, please join me with a warm welcome, Kathy Powell.
Hi, Michelle. Thanks for having me on here. This is great.
I know. I'm really excited about this because I'm such a planner addict. I keep saying that I'm a planner addict because I like to have everything organized, clean, to the point, and that I can easily access things. And I think one of the things that I was struggling with initially when I first started out my business was I had a lot of tasks that's on my hand. And now I have to figure out how to send my clients invoices, how to create these templates, how to write a contract, all these things. I could do it very easily with just one simple email, but every single client that I signed up, it feels like I have to keep repeating all these tasks.
Absolutely.
So when I came across your profile, I was like, whoa, this is really cool because you have a system and you know exactly how to help others to organize their life. So I don't want to take too much of your time, but I would love to hear, how did you get into the virtual assistant space?
It's not a funny story, but I am a life coach. And one of the things when you become a life coach or get the training, you forget that you need to keep getting training yourself. And so I kind of went off on a different tangent, and all of my clients kept saying, you keep giving us tips on our back end things. You should be a virtual assistant. So my first thought was like a executive assistant, and I really didn't want to do that because I like diving into the back end, to the putting things in order, the project type thing. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to try that. And I threw it out there and immediately had 7 people. And I was like, oh my gosh, now what do I do? So I learned a lot really quickly. And one of the things in the virtual assistant world is they kept talking about client management systems or client relationship systems. And Dubsado kept coming up. And so there was Dubsado and several others. And so I researched them. And what I was finding was Dubsado is more customizable and it's very robust. You can grow with it. So I thought, okay, let's go with that. And so I did a lot of training in October last year. Dubsado had a certification program. They started that, and so I got in on that and became certified in Dubsado, and I just love Dubsado. So
Yeah, I had so much trouble getting into Dubsado, and the reason Dubsado, I don't know how the accurate way to
potato, you know.
right. And so I was struggling to get into Dubsado because I didn't know like how to customize it. Like there's a lot of moving pieces behind the dashboard, and it was just so hard for me to navigate. And I wanted to backtrack a little bit because I know there's audience where they're not really sure what is Dubsado and why do I even need one.
Okay, so Dubsado is you probably have seen CMS or client management system, CSM. In its client management systems, it's basically where, like you were talking at the beginning, it just puts everything in one place. If you're sending the same email over and over, if you're sending the contract out, I know when I first started, and a lot of my clients, they go find their old contract and they make a copy of it and update little things on it. And then they send it to one platform, or some people still send a PDF for people to sign and copy, scan it back. This puts everything in one place. If you have emails that you're also, as you said, the onboarding emails, instead of having to go find where you wrote it before and copy it and tweak it, you have all of these as templates, all of it in one place. And that way you're not spending any time stressing or wasting time actually going and looking where all of this is. So it saves time and that the time and the stress of going to find all of that. So it's just all in one place.
And the potential error that can happen. I had experience where this is like early on when I was still doing life coaching and mindset work. And I remember I had a new potential client who was ready to sign up and ready to start the program. And I was copy and paste one of the old, like you said, the old onboarding email and the contract. And there was a line in there that I forgot to change. And so that was a huge mistake. I caught it afterwards, and the client didn't even notice that, thank goodness. But it was an embarrassing moment for me to actually sit there and wondering if this client actually saw that mistake.
Wow. I always have a fear of, or did have a fear of, you go in and you type in your client's name and then try to remember to go in and change that name to the new name.
Yeah. And so I would love to hear more about how you set up the Dubsado and what does it involve and what are some of the things that people should know about.
In how I do it, or would you like me to show you some things inside of Dubsado?
Would you mind showing us something inside the Dubsado?
I would love to show you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to do a briefly run down all of these different items in the menu. And then I'm going to show you today how you can send a proposal, contract, and invoice all in one, all at the same time. Okay, so when you open up your Dubsado, this is your dashboard. This just kind of gives you an overview of everything that's here. This is my training account. I'm not going to show my real clients in here, so it looks like I have nothing. When you're in here working after you have it set up, you will spend most of your time in projects. This is where each of your projects that you have with your clients in here. If you're coaching, you would have each coaching each coaching package set up in here. And all of these are statuses. These are customizable. You can change these to, when we do automations, you can have it automatically change into what status where your client is at the moment. So you don't have to go back. What email did I send last? Where was the next thing? The next thing, I'm going to skip through a lot of these for time. Utilities will have your address book, the form list of things that are out here, but the two places, the projects is where you will work, but everything that's in the project is in the templates. This is the key to setting everything up, is here in your templates. the scheduler, we're going to look at forms. I have a couple of different coaching contracts in here. I don't have any sub-agreements. You have questionnaires, proposals, and lead captures. And the difference between a lead capture and a questionnaire, a lead capture is something you would put like on your website, or you would send a new prospect a link, and this would automatically set them up inside of Dubsado, depending on the questions. The questionnaires is just gathering more information that you need from your clients. You can also add, like those of you that are in iPEC, you can see there's some tools that you could send, the Wheel of Life. You can add extra things in there besides the forms. And as we were talking about the canned emails, Dubsado comes with a whole lot of samples for you, examples, but you can create your own inside of here. And so there's a few of them in here that I have created, and we will show you that here. And then you can also add, you can create your signature in here. So when Dubsado is set up, it will be connected to your domain, to your email. So when your clients receive emails, it comes from your email. It doesn't look like it's coming from Dubsado. You can add your packages. You can add the workflows. This is where you can automate or not automate as much as you want each step of the way. And the way I set my clients up is most businesses have 3 different phases. You have your inquiry phase. They're sending you, they want to know more. You're going to send them the link to your scheduler. And then you've decided if you want if you're moving forward. And then you move into your booking phase. They are not booked. They are not your client until they have signed that invoice and contract. Mm-hmm. And then they have different payment plans. So I'm going to go back up here into the project. With Dubsado, you get a free sample testing. I'm sample for today. And then you get 3 clients for free after that. And there's no time limit on that. So what I want to do today is I'm going to show you how to send a proposal, a contract, and an invoice. And you don't have to send all of these 3, but this is just to show you one of the things that Dubsado can do. Mm-hmm. So the first thing, I'm inside of this job, inside of the project, and I want to send the proposal. So the first thing I need to do is go grab a copy of that proposal. So this is a copy, and I can look, yes, this is what I want. So I always think of it in my head old school. I'm making a copy, I'm pulling it out of this folder, and now it's in this folder. But it doesn't affect the template at all. Now I could just send it from here, but I want to show you what just happened because of the way I have the proposal set up. There's now a contract in here, and there is also an invoice has started. There's no dollar amount showing here yet because the client will need to choose which package they want. On the contract, I'm going to just show you here. You can see in here, there's no dollar amount yet either. That will automatically populate. We use smart fields, so it adds the names. So it looks personalized. Everything's going to look personalized. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go back over here to the form, and I'm going to hit send. Now an automatic email will come up with that. If I wanted something different, if I wanted a more personalized than just this right here, I can also do, where did I put it? This one. I've created another email. I'm going to hit send. You can see that my signature and everything is there. I'm going to hit send. And then I'm pretty sure I did this. Yes. So I've hit send. This is my training email. Mm-hmm. And you can see the proposal is here. You open it up, nice clean email. You click on the button and they get your proposal. And in the proposal, you can have multiple choices if you have multiple items to choose from. I'm going to select this one. Now it allows me to hit submit and next. This automatically takes me over to the contract. And I also wanted to show you that there are places that you can build your contract out. And here you can see the prices there. Inside of here, I have an extensive one. I have made it where people have to initial certain places to make sure they do read that part. Mm-hmm. As you were saying, there are certain places you definitely want them to. And so then I'm going to, my name is already populated in here because I do this a lot. and the date's already there. And there's a time that you, as the owner of this, will go back and sign. You hit agree and next, and there's the invoice. All of that has played out. It's pulled up the $800, and then they can pay now. Dubsado does use, you can use a credit card, you can use PayPal, PayPal, Stripe, or Square. So I'm not going to pay that right now. But then over here, as a client, you would get an email that says, oh, I'm getting both because this is both. Okay. So this is what, as a client, they would receive a link to the contract to see it as well. If we go back over here, I'm going to refresh this page. Inside of Dubsado, now you can see that the contract is signed and this form has been completed. And I was going to show something. Okay. So another thing that do we still have time? How much time do we have?
We have plenty of time.
Okay. I was going really fast. It was like, okay. So a couple of other things inside of here. If you're a coach and you have a lot of forms that you like to send to your client ahead of time, instead of putting them all in one email or, sending multiple emails, Dubsado has a portal that you could load up everything inside of the portal if you wanted to, and then give your client access to the portal. So inside of the portal, and they won't have access to the portal until you give them permission or you activate it. And again, you can see everything's customizable. You can make really pretty labels. You can change the colors to match. In here, you can see that there is an open invoice. And this is what your clients will see. All of the emails that we have had back and forth, there's an open invoice. You can even have multiple projects inside of here that they could choose from if you have multiple projects going with your clients. But here you can see there's, I've had a Dubsado strategy scheduler done once. There's an open invoice. You can see the contract, and this is the proposal. So at any time the client wants to go back, they can go into their portal and find it. There's also different ways you can set this up if you have things that you want your client to upload to the portal. That's also possible. All of the emails, and then they can come in and update their profile if anything changes. So is there any questions? Are there any questions?
Well, my mind is blown away because a lot of what I'm doing right now is through Google Drive.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of things that I'm going back and forth and storing in the Google Drive that I share with my clients, and there's just a lot of repeatable. So I'm curious though, with the Dubsado, would it allow you to share the same file and drop it just one time for all the clients? Like, how often do you have to upload these files that you're sharing with your clients?
You mean
if it's the same? Let's say I'm sharing a wheel of life with all my clients, no matter who they are, but everyone gets a wheel of life. Do I drop it every single time, or does that document sit somewhere and all I have to do is just assign it once the client on board?
You can do that as part of your onboarding, and it would be individual. You could also have that as part of your, let me see if I've got that. Inside of the workflow, booked phase. Do I have that? Yes, inside of the workflow, this we would add, depending on how you want it. And in this one, you can see that some of these steps, I've got an approve button, which is what I recommend all my clients at first when we do a workflow, is make everything approved until they understand it. And then we can slowly start removing that. But in here, you can see send the form wheel of life. It can do that automatically if you have it set up in your workflow. Otherwise, you would just, inside of the project, let me see if I can do this. You could, would I send a form? I would have to go in here and I would add, and this would be something you could add to all of the, and there's the wheel of life. then I can add that wheel of life, and then I can send it directly from here.
Okay.
Like that. Okay.
I don't know about anyone in our audience, but if you're watching this and doing this as a replay, love to hear your thoughts. But my thought is that how do you work with the client? Can you just set it up for me, please?
Exactly. That is actually what I do is we have a couple of strategy sessions. We'll do one big one to get a lot of things in place. Now, the interesting thing is I also use Google Drive. I find that it's easier because I have to log into their Dubsado. And if I log into my Dubsado, sometimes it messes things up. So I do have my clients put information inside of Google Drive. I'll share a folder with them, and then they give me all of their information. You're already sending these emails. You already have these documents. So you just copy paste the emails in there. I have a process that I go through that everyone I have worked with, I've worked with coaches, an email marketer, a LinkedIn service provider. As we walk through to create the workflow step by step, there's always things that they haven't thought of. Inside of the workflow, what was your question? Am I answering your question? Oh, how I work with you. Yes. I could just keep going on about all the things there.
Because you're passionate about this topic. I don't blame you. I get into the same space where, oh yeah, well, what's that you asked? How do people work with you?
Yeah. So I do I have my website pulled up here. I do set up the Dubsado for my clients. I have a list of things that's part of the full package that I do, and I usually do more than what's on there. But yes, I do it, and then I teach you how to do it, and we record it, and you have that recording so that you can always go back to it. And 30 days after the setup, you still have access to me to, if you need some tweaks done, if you have questions, and some of the questions if you need something real quick, I'm not going to hesitate I'm not going to just say, here it is, I'm gone. But no, I set it up. We do extensive training. I have found that I do training in 2 steps. Mm-hmm. I do the first one where we do everything manually. And then the second step, we will do it's semi-manually as we click on all of the workflow steps. So you can see how each one shows up in your box and all of the reminders and things like that. So they get a good handle on everything. And then that's what we do.
So I think my question for a lot of my ladies in the community would be, I'm totally brand new to the whole coaching and the whole client relationship management system. What would be my first step that I need to know? Like, how do I get started?
Get started with the client management system?
Yeah.
I would look up a couple of them and see what you would like. You kind of can review. What is the one that you're using right now? I forget.
I'm using Honeybook.
Okay, so Honeybook is a good one. And I know Dubsado. Those actually are the 2 that I looked between. There's quite a number of them, and you can do some reviews to find out what works best for you. And then, like, most of them have free trials. So Dubsado, as far as I know, has the best free trial because, as I was showing, you get 3 clients, including your sample. So you can go in there and play, set everything up, and there's no time limit. That time limit bothers me when you have to 7 days. Yeah. How long is it going to take me just to do the research yeah. So that was another thing with Dubsado is I got to do all this learning and playing. In fact, this particular one that I'm showing you from is my training one. Mm-hmm. And then, just try them out and see which ones you like and what fits you, because Dubsado is not going to be for everybody. I think it is, but it's not necessarily. Everyone has their different things that they want inside of there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, you brought so much values into showing us like where things are and what is possible with Dubsado. I would love to hear what would be your productivity tip for our coaches who's struggling to get everything done and everything in one place. What would be your one advice for them?
If they are, okay, the first advice I think would be kind of like what I do with my clients to begin with. Write down everything you're doing. Get a document all in one place and walk through your client's journey from the minute they contact you, whether it's through, social media or your website or a phone call or a referral. What are your steps? What is the first thing you do with each one of them? Do you send them a calendar link? Do you send them a questionnaire? It depends on, a lot of people send a questionnaire. You fill out this questionnaire and I'll decide if I want to talk with you or not. And then every little step that you do, write it all down and you can see, this is where, okay, we've onboarded. I send an email, I send a contract, I send another questionnaire, all of these things. Where are you sending those? How are you sending those documents? Are you having to do, what are the steps? It's kind of like creating SOPs or your processes. Once you see everything that you're doing, one of my clients, when we went through this process and we wrote it down, and she goes, I do a lot, because you don't realize you do it all, because you do a little here, a little there, and a little there. And it's like, oh, it's no big deal. But when you write it all down and you see and how much you're having to go and look for all of these things, that adds up. It adds up in time. It adds up in stress. It adds up in possibly putting, leaving an extra line in there. So yeah, that would be the first thing. Write it all down and see exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. As you're describing this list, I can only imagine what my list looked like. So I'm definitely going to take that to my heart and make sure that starting today, I'm going to write down my process. And, maybe a month or 2 months later, once I collect those huge lists I'm going to come back to Kathy and say, Kathy, I'm ready.
And one thing that as coaches, we think, okay, I'm supposed to get a referral, or you want a testimonial, and we think we'll get to it, or we don't know where to put that. And for part of any of the CRMs, you can set that up as a reminder or as part of your process. So as you're writing down your process, write the things that you want to do that sometimes you forget. Because when you have it all in one place, everything gets done. There's no holding it all in your head. Did I do that? What's the next step? If you have 5, 10, 20 clients, that's a lot to keep in your head.
Yeah. I love the idea of having a second brain for us.
Yes.
Because our brain is not functioning as a storage. It doesn't store that much. There's a capacity of how much you store. So when you're an entrepreneur, there's a lot of tracking that you have to do. And whether you love it or you enjoy it or you hate it and you want to delegate to someone, I think it really helps just having things in one place only, no confusion, no error whatsoever.
It creates a lot of space for more creativity, to spend more time with your clients, to creating your courses or whatever else you're wanting to do. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I mean, keep telling people this. Kathy, I love you so much, and I'm really inspired by all your work and the stuff that you do. I know virtual assistant, people were like, oh, a virtual assistant, what is that? But it actually saved you a lot of work to have in life. So thank you so much for coming to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was fun.
It is, right? Any last words that you would like to share with the audience?
Just write it down. Write it down and really see what you're doing, because as an entrepreneur, service provider, or other, you're doing probably way more than you realize. So just write it down and see how much you're doing.
Yeah. I love that. Write it down. Write it down. And where's your website again?
My website is kathytheva.com.
And here it is. Yes. I would encourage everyone to check Kathy out. Her work is amazing. I've been following her. I've been stalking her for quite some time.
And I think that's so funny, because I've been stalking you, and I was telling somebody, she keeps showing up on my radar. I need to contact her. And within a day of me saying that out loud, you were in my inbox.
Right? We manifest each other.
Yes.
I love watching you and watching your growth. And I know that you have done a lot of amazing things with Dubsado, and that word just keep popping in my head. So when I was looking for a CRM or client management system, I was really like, she's under my radar. I need to talk to her, and I know my community need to hear from her. So I'm really glad that you're here on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to show off what I like.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
I'm going to put you to the backstage. If you want to
Okay.
hang around, I will chat with you once I close the show.
Okay.
Gina said this is the third time Kathy had popping for me, so that's a hint.
Hi, Gina.
So thank you so much, and thank you those who's watching the show. I will be putting all the links from Kathy into the episode notes, so be sure to stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and follow me on social media by clicking the like and subscribe. Now, Gina say hello, and thank you so much for watching. And I hope you come back again next week for another episode of Like Coffee Talk, where I invite another guest to come and talk to you, and so that you can actually get over that Wednesday hump more easily. I will see you on the next show. Bye.